Sir, hindi ko, uh, hindi, when it comes to the dispensation of justice, hindi ko, I do not have the respect and the whatever sa mga puti. They have always looked upon us as inferior ever since. That has not changed over time, many years. I would rather that I be heard, I be prosecuted by a Filipino, heard by a judge, sentenced, then I can appeal, then if it is affirmed, then I can go to the Supreme Court, and if the Supreme Court says that I go to jail, wala namang death penalty ngayon, I would willingly go to prison. Sir, basta Pilipino lang. Wag lang foreigner. Ayaw ko yung puti, sir. May sentimento ako sa kanila.
Maraming salamat po. Would you agree with me, Mr. President, na lahat po ng sasabihin nyo tungkol sa isang issue, isang bagay, it becomes a policy statement of the country when you were the President?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and therefore, when you stated things about the war on drugs, don't you think it had encouraged our police force to be so aggressive in implementing the war against illegal drugs?
Sir, ang police natin, sir, hindi naman yan pinupulot sa daan eh. They are recruited and they undergo 2 years. And one of the subjects, lahat na, and criminal law, nagtuturo rin ako kasi to augment the income at that time sa pamilya ko, sir. Tinuturo namin ang lahat. At yung lahat ng mga ating police, sir, ay edukado na yan and well-versed on how to handle a police work. So, bago sila magsabi na binugbog ng police o ganon, titignan mo muna, sir, kasi ang police usually hindi kagaya ng ibang civilian, kung may gulo, they can stay away. A policeman, whatever is there, a quarrel or anumang gulo, has to go there and confront what's happening and to pacify and make an arrest if need be and bring them. And sometimes hindi mo madala yan, sir, basta-basta lang mahila mo, minsan lumalaban, kaya nabubugbog. Kaya pagkatapos niyan, ang labas, ang pulis ang nabubugbog. Talagang, yung mga lasing, hindi mo mahila yan sa mga restuhin. Tawa lang pulis-pulis dito.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll make it short because I want to go home also. Mr. President, a while ago, Senator Trillanes presented some bank accounts on the screen, and because of that, you stated that you are willing to sign a waiver. Tama po ba yung pagkarinig ko, Mr. President? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I would like also to inform you, Mr. President, that kung namang problema po kayo dun sa pamasahe po ninyo, pagpunta sa hearing na ito, I have told the chairman na pwede namang yung gobyerno ang mag-spend para sa inyo.
Salamat,
under
sir.
our rules, Mr. President.
That would be hindi naman great, but that would be saving. 3 pamalengke yan. 4.
Yes, Mr. President. Totoo rin po ba yung pagkarinig ko kanina, Mr. President, that you would volunteer to go to the ICC and have yourself be investigated,
Yes, sir.
provided the funds will be
Yes, sir.
Baka magkatotoo po yun, Mr. President. May magbibigay ng pera eh.
Sir, mas mabuti yan sir, makapasyal ako. Wala man talaga silang makuha sa akin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now, pero doon sa statement po nyo kanina, I don't think you would want to volunteer simply because you wouldn't want persons who are colored white to judge you. Tama rin po ba yung pagkarinig ko?
No, I'm open to, I'm a public official, sir. So, I am open to public scrutiny and public judgment.
Nandun na kami kanina yun.
Official ho ako ng gobyerno.
Yes, Mr. President. Pero narinig ko po kanina na doon sa pagtatanong ng isang kasamahan ko na you wouldn't want to be judged by white persons. You would rather want to be judged by Filipinos, your fellow Filipinos.
Yes, sir. Hindi ko... when it comes to the dispensation of justice, hindi ko... I do not have the respect and the whatever sa mga puti. They have always looked upon us as inferior ever since. That has not changed over time, many years. I would rather that I be heard, I be prosecuted by a Filipino, heard by a judge, sentenced, then I can appeal, then if it is affirmed, then I can go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says that I go to jail, wala namang death penalty ngayon, I would willingly go to prison. Sir, basta Pilipino lang. Wag lang foreigner. Ayaw ko yung puti, sir. May sentimento ako sa kanila.
Maraming salamat po. Would you agree with me, Mr. President, na lahat po ng sasabihin nyo tungkol sa isang issue o isang bagay, it becomes a policy statement of the country when you were the President?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And therefore, when you stated things about the war on drugs, don't you think it had encouraged our police force to be so aggressive in implementing the war against illegal drugs?
Sir, ang police natin, sir, hindi naman yan pinupulot sa daan eh. They are recruited and they undergo 2 years. And one of the subjects, lahat na, and criminal law, nagtuturo rin ako kasi to augment the income at that time sa pamilya ko, sir. Tinuturo namin ang lahat. At yung lahat ng mga ating police, sir, ay edukado na yan and well-versed on how to handle a police work. So, bago sila magsabi na binugbog ng police o ganon, titignan mo muna, sir, kasi ang police usually hindi kagaya ng ibang civilian, kung may gulo, they can stay away. A policeman, whatever is there, a quarrel or anumang gulo, has to go there and confront what's happening and to pacify and make an arrest if need be and bring them. And sometimes hindi mo madala yan, sir, basta-basta lang mahila mo, minsan lumalaban, kaya nabubugbog. Kaya pagkatapos niyan, ang labas, ang pulis ang nabubugbog. Talagang, yung mga lasing, hindi mo mahila yan sa mga restuhin. Tawa lang pulis-pulis dito. Di pa ka ganun, talagang mabugbog ka ng pulis. Tama naman. Because you have to overcome the resistance in order to make the arrest. Otherwise, inutil ka na pulis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yun pong Yung statement po ninyo na you take full legal responsibility for the acts of the members of the police force. I've heard that so many times.
Wala akong choice, sir. If you're a mayor,
Dumiretso tayo.
napakaduwag mo naman kung if you shy away
Hindi na rin ako.
from your responsibility because you're supposed to be
Kanina mo pala.
giving the direction.
Sa iba kami nalusot.
Ang
pero
pulis po, nagtatrabaho lang yan.
pa.
So ang pulis, pag sinabi mo, pumunta ka dyan sa mga lasinggero na yan, and always there is a resistance, a quarrel, eventually there will be a confrontation. At hindi natin maiwasan, sir, ang kaso. Kaya ako naawa, kasi alam mo noon, sir, pag ang pulis napailan ng kaso, on that day, wala nang sweldo. Suspended na ang
Kami
sweldo.
kanina yun.
Pati yung mga anak. Kaya ako pro-police talaga.
Marami
At
po
noon
salamat.
pang fiscal ako, pro-police talaga ako.
Yung pong statement nyo kasi, itinuturo rin doon sa academy eh. Under the principle of command responsibility, a leader or a commander is supposed to be responsible for what his people will do or would fail to do.
Yeah,
Basically, it's
Pursuant-
basically the same doon sa sinasabi ko.
pursuant to what they have learned from you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yun po yung... But,
Yes.
tinuturo din po sa amin sa academy na kung ganun po ang sabi ng commander, the commander is responsible, pero ang responsibility lang niya for those legal acts to be committed by the members of his unit.
Yes,
Hindi
sir.
kagaya po ng sinasabi ngayon, nakikita po natin nangyayari, meron kayong policy statement
Dumiretso tayo.
regarding the war on drugs,
Oo.
tapos hindi naman po nila in-implement ng tama. Why? Because
Palabas kami.
according to our investigations, they have committed crimes in order to fulfill their mandate.
That is the reason why yung police na dapat i-appoint nila sa syudad o municipality, kailangan tanggap ng mayor yan. O baski na kaibigan ng mayor yan, okay na yan. Because there will be a smooth, orderly administration of law and order.
Kami kanina yun.
Pagka nagka-bikil yan dalawa, sir, mahirap masyado. Lalo na kung ang chief of police gusto rin magpa-salida, if I may use my, for lack of, yan ang minsan nagkakagulo. That's why there's always a friction. That's why magbuti yung batas na ang mayor talaga ang mamili. Why? Because the mayor is the elected leader of the community, not the police chief. So, hanggang guidance lang. Ngayon, kung illegal yung maraming yan, sir, illegal, maraming kung ano-anong mga sugal, then he can always report to the provincial commander.
Dumiretso
At
tayo.
kung hindi na talaga niya makaya, sabihin nila na, sir, i-relieve mo na lang ako, but he can make a report, copy furnish,
Palabas kami.
lahat, including the
Sa iba
president.
kami nalusot, pero mas,
Importante yan,
mas
sir, kung may
malaki pa.
complaint ka, the office of the president ang paki-furnish. Ako noon, pagka kailangan may office of the president talaga yan. Kasi pag nakita ko yan, lahat binabasa ko sa gabi. Pag nakita ko yung then that night, tinatawagan ko kung sinong secretary in.
So, let's make it clear, Mr. President. You take full responsibility for the acts of your police force, but you are not responsible for their individual acts which would constitute a crime.
Sir, bago ito sila na police, nag-aral ito ng academy ng 2 years. Of what purpose would have been or it would be kung wala natutunan ito sa basic criminal law, criminal procedure? Ako doon sa amin, ako ang nagtuturo mismo . And not because of the money now, but because I want to share my knowledge with the police so that we can have a better police force. Noon, sir, gidaginot ko yan. Ano ang taginot sa Tagalog?
Unfortunately, Mr.
Kasi
President,
kailangan ko ng pera.
unfortunately, Mr. President, some did not learn maybe from your teachings.
mas-
That's why,
We have the terms kalawag.
opo,
Money, sir. Basta dyan sa police nagkaletse-letse, it's always money. Or, dalawa yan, sir. May pangalawang asawa yung mga gago o may sugalan dyan, ano. Pero whichever, yung first na dalawang asawa, hindi masyado ko ang magdikdik niyan kaya marami tayong may kasalanan ng ganun. Maybe
Nandun na nga kami kanina yun.
the chairman can explain to us what that means to a layman's term.
marami pong salamat, Mr. President. May I ask Attorney Conti, when would you consider a person a criminal?
Your Honor, under the rules, a criminal would have to be convicted of a crime. Prior to that, it would just be someone who is either accused, if already indicted in court, or charged if only complained of before the prosecutor.
Did I get you right, Madam Attorney, na ikaw ay magiging criminal kung ikaw ay na-charge and you have been convicted with final judgment? Ganun po ba yan?
Could be, Your Honor, but pwede din po sigurong sabihin na criminal na kung kahit yung initial na conviction lang po muna. Kasi, kumbaga, may conviction ka na from a court. Balik-balik na rin ko po. Kapag sa fiscal, charged or respondent, kung tatawagin, kapag nakarating sa korte, accused,
Kaninang palabas ka.
and then pag na convicted,
Sa iba kami
criminal.
nalusot, pero mas
So,
malapit pa.
even if you have been convicted sa, for example, regional trial court, nag-appeal siya hanggang sa Korte Suprema, he's already considered a criminal under the eyes of the law?
Yes, Your Honor, because there is a conviction. Of course, you can contest that. Pwede nyo pong sabihin na, under appeal pa rin naman. But the conviction stands. It could be just that hindi siya nagsiserve ng
Nandun na nga
sentence.
kami kanina yun.
Mr. President, would you agree with that definition?
There has to be a conviction. Hindi mahirap yung sabihin mo na basta i-demanda mo lang. Especially yung sa nagtatrabaho lang, sir. Yung mga minor offenses, lumalabas yan sa blatter ng police. Tapos lumalabas yan sa database nila. Yung mga pobre naman na pag-apply nila for trabaho, lalabas yan eh. No matter na hindi kailangan conviction, basta may police record, automatically it is a negative. Yeah, between a choice na walang violation, ito may violation. Pagka doon may police record, kawawa talaga, sir. So,
Thank you, Mr. President. Nagwo-worry lang po kasi ako doon sa kanina, mayroon po kayong example na inilabas na doon sa Davao,
Sa iba kami
merong
nalusot, pero mas
mga tao na pumasok sa isang bahay, nagnakaw, nag-rape, tapos pagbaba nila, nandun ka, patay sila. Yun po yung sabi nyo kanina. Did I get you right,
No,
Mr.
sir.
President?
It's not that easy to kill a person.
I
Kasi
know.
sinasabi ko yan, sir, yung mga kidnapping with some, hindi sinasauli, pinapatay na lang. Yung mayor
nandun
ako,
na kami kanina yun.
hard talaga ako dyan.
So,
Talagang hard as hard. Yung rape mo, patayin mo.
sinasabi po nyo ba sa amin ngayon, Mr. President, na you discarded the presumption of innocence of each and every individual? Yun po ba ang gusto nyong sabihin sa amin ngayon?
I am not ready to answer or to give you an accurate answer on that, sir. Depende na yan sa konsensya ko. Pati yung sa mga pulis na kaharap ko. Kasi alam naman ng mga pulis doon na pag sinungaling sila or hihilain nila yung inosenteng tao, alam ng pulis nila na bugbugin ko talaga sila. Nagbubugbog talaga ako ng pulis sa Davao, sir.
And
Pagka-abusado na pulis, talagang pag inabutan kita sa istasyon,
Dumiretso tayo.
sigurado yan.
so,
Kaya disiplinado ang pulis ko.
would it also mean, Mr. President, that sometimes you have discarded the presumption of innocence, then you would also have discarded sometimes the principle of due process. Would that be correct?
Due process, yes, maybe. Pero yung sabi, innocent, sir. Huwag nandyan yung babae. Alam mo, karamihan dyan, minsan. Usually, nandyan yung babae. Magsumbong dyan sa opisina ko. May pasa dito, may bugol dito, black eye dito. So, bakit? Binugbog ako. Sinong bumugbog sa iyo? Yung pulis dyan sa Talumo. Sino? Sabi ko, yung Bongo, yung senator, tawagin mo. Pagdating doon sa opisina, tawagin ko yung asawa. O manood ka. Saan ka unang sinipa? Dito. O di sipain ko. Saan sunod? Sinuntok ako dito. Suntukin ko. Tapos sunod saan? Sipa uli dito. Kaya sabihin ko, pag inulit mo yan, papatayin kita. Hindi na kita papalusutin.
Thank you, Mr. President. The last issue, kasi doon po ako nagwo-worry. Yung pong statement po ninyo na sinasabihan nyo yung mga polis na pag hindi lumaban, i-encourage nyo na lumaban. Would that be correct? Yung pagkaintindi ko po ron.
Yes, sir. Kung may hold up at pumupurma ng lumaban, palabanin mo para matapos na ang problema natin. Pero kung yung nakasurrender na, sir, tinapon na yung baril sa... Alam nila, hindi yan.
Paano po, Mr. President, magkakaroon ng depensa na self-defense yung taong nag-i-encourage na lumaban yung isang tao?
Well, that would be a question of batas na yan, sir.
Yes, I agree, Mr. President.
Yeah.
That's why there are three elements of self-defense. As a defense for you to be acquitted of that crime.
That is for the fiscal to decide at that stage. Wala na yan dyan sa police, sir. It is far removed na kung meron ng...
Pero po, lumalaki
Fiscal.
yung tsansa na sila po ay madali. Pag
Again,
ganun.
sir?
Ibig sabihin, mas malaki yung tsansa na sila ay makonvict simply because hindi natupad yung isa sa elements ng self-defense,
No,
which
sir.
is lack of sufficient provocation.
Pag,
Hindi po ba?
pag nalaman ko, sir, na nagtatrabaho ang pulis, yung tama lang, magtanong ka sa Davao, lahat ng Davao, pulis. Pag na-charge mo ang pulis, sa trabaho lang, suportado ko yan. Ako ang nag-alam ng lahat. Ako ang nagbabayad ng abogado habang suspendido siya. He receives a commensurate salary doon sa sweldo niya. At tinutulungan ko. If it is in the fulfillment of duty. Pero kung abusado na pulis, sir, magkaka-enkwentro talaga tayo.
Pero mas
Yan ang sabi ko sa kanila, iwasan mo kasi hindi ko kataya talaga palusutin. At marami akong nabugbog na pulis. Hindi na ngayon, sir, matanda na ako. Nung mayor pa ako, batuta, yung batuta nila mismo yan, gamitin ko batuta sa kanila. Sa batuta ninyo. Kaya pag nanagdatin ako, may kasalanan man yung gagong yan, tinatapon nila yung batuta kasi alam ko gagamitin ko sa kanila. That's the only way to, hindi mo mapakiusap ang pulis. Hoy, pulis, alam mo, may batas. Hindi kayo dupapit ng ganon, ha? Huwag kayong pumasok kasi bawal yan. Professor ako ng professor ako ng academy. Itong mga to, katagal ko ngang fiscal year. Fiscal ako for 9 years. Alam ko yung asta ng lahat. Yung hold-upper, yung pulis, yung gagong pulis, yung mabait na pulis. Yung mababait na pulis na papasubo, suportado ko rin yan sila. Talagang to the hilt. Pero pag ikaw ay gago, ay na, mag-inkwentro tayo. Pero sa criminal, sir, talagang mainit ako, lalo na sa druga.
Oo. Dumiretso
Noong
tayo.
presidente ako, time and again, I have
Oo.
shown to the
Hindi
public
namin oo, hindi ako.
how cruel, how brutal,
Palabas kami.
how
Sa iba kami nalusot, pero
brutal
mas-
I was
mas
in
malapit
dealing
pa.
with drugs. Kasi si sir, ang druga kasi, ang target niyan, ang mga anak natin. Hindi makaresist eh. Yung pagpano dyan, udyukan, o ito, gamit nyo dyan. At their age, sir, wala silang depensa. Ngayon, pag tinamaan ito, sir, what would happen to the next generation? Yan nga ang masakit, sir. Can I be given a little para ma-portray ko talaga ang totoong istorya. Oh, here is a mother. Magpunta ng abroad. Hindi na talaga natin alam. Sometimes they rape, abuse. Yung iba, magreklamo. Yung iba, maghanap na lang trabaho, but they will endure the brutality sa nangyari sa kanila. Why? Because kailangan nila to send the money. Otherwise, yung gago na walang trabaho, magsige lang inom, ang mga bata walang pagkain, walang eskwela. Kaya ako mainit dyan. Mainit talaga ako sa mga lalo na yung mga droga sa mga bata.
Yun yung
Mainit talaga ako.
dumiretso tayo.
Ay, hindi ko lang masabi sa'yo kung paano ko martilyuhin ang mga kamay niyan. I cannot just portray. Hindi ako nagyayabang, pero magtanong ka
Sa
na
iba
lang ng
kami
pulis.
nalusot, pero
Pulis
mas-
ka man.
mas malapit pa.
Minamartilyo ko talaga yung...
Thank you, Mr. President. Would I be correct as my last question? Kayo po yung naniniwala na sa Machiavellian principle that the end justify the means?
Fortunately, sir, rightly or wrongly, I believe
In
In
that
Machiavellian.
Machiavellian principle. Marami pong salamat, Mr. President.
there's no other way to deal with criminals except to instill fear. Pag hindi ka nare-respeto ng kriminal, walang mangyayari sa iyo.
Marami pong salamat, Mr. President.
Laruin ka.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr.
Thank
Chair.
you, Congressman Acop. Mr.
Mr.
President, okay.